Hello all and welcome to Sky Factory 2.5 episode 14. This is Mordenkaim. I wanted to keep going with Thaumcraft a little more. I want to get to where we can do some alchemy, and I've done quite a bit of my research. I've got a lot of it opened up, not all of it of course. I've gone into some of the energistic stuff because I want to get to the storage point where we can store all of our Essentia, but we need to be able to make Essentia before that makes any sense. So what we want to do is I've done a little bit of the alchemy exploration, and I want to get to where we can do an Alembic. And what that does is it breaks down items into their basic essentia. So a good example would be like a dirt block would turn into terra if you put it into the furnace. So you need a cauldron for that. So let's go ahead and get a cauldron, which I think is iron ingot. And I think it takes 7 of them. We'll just make 10. And like so. You place your cauldron in the world. Like this. And then you right click it with a wand. And it turns into a crucible. Now this is a messy way to make alchemy because it wastes a lot. You have to do everything at once. So I'm going to go ahead and step up to the Alembic, which we really just need to be able to make arcane stone blocks, a regular furnace, and a crucible. So we're almost there. That's actually the furnace. And then the Alembic goes on top of the furnace. And we'll also need some Essentia tubing. So there's a few things we're going to need to get this together, but we'll work on those now. So I've got the crucible here, which I'm just going to take up because it's part of the recipe. And we're also going to need our furnace. Where's my wireless thing? Oops, I sorted where to go. There it is. Got a bunch of notes here that I'm still working on. So let's see if we have any furnaces made. We do. We'll take one of those. And we need to make our arcane stone. So let's take a bunch of this. And we'll take some shards. And I should be able to just do this and go in a circle. The shards there, and drop the wand in, and we'll say 1, 2, 3, 4. I've only got 25, so I want to save my viz so I don't have to go get viz. If I do, I'll just take a quick break and get viz, but you can see that used some of our terra and some of our ignis, and ignis is probably the hardest one to find down here. Okay, so now let's work on that furnace recipe, which I think I can look up. Furnace. There should be an arcane furnace, alchemical furnace. And let's just see if we can pull everything in. We can. Yeah, see that's gonna really hit our ignis stores. But there's our furnace. And we'll drop it here. And we need the Alembic to go on top of it. So if we look at our recipe plan here, silverwood planks, which actually we do have silverwood. I got some saplings from the legendary loot bags, and I planted them in the main world. So if you look here, how to get them, you can craft it in witch water. You can also get it from your legendary loot bags, which is where I got them. But crafting it would also work if you needed that, but I have a few. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to go back to the main world and we'll cut to there. Alright, here we are. We've got our silverwood saplings here, and as you can see, this one has a node in it. I kind of want to leave the node there, so I'm going to harvest this one for now. And that's what I'm going to use for my silverwood supplies, but these grow. You can't really bone meal them. You can use a hoe of growth, which we don't have yet, but it's a Thaumcraft item, and also the lamps of fertility work. But we're not quite there yet, so we just got to let them grow naturally. So I created this area for them, plenty of room for them to grow up, and this is a nice big one. So we're going to do this, and hopefully we'll get a few more saplings out of this. Go ahead and just do that, and let's see. I've got silk touch on this, but those are starting to collapse. Maybe if I just use my pick. There we go. Did we get any saplings? It'd be nice, but it's not critical if we didn't. But we got plenty of silverwood. Oh, no, that was the old sapling I placed. I'm going to place another one here, though. because I can. Let's get dirt. And if it's gonna if it's gonna grow there, we'll put another one there. The fact that you can craft them in this makes it much easier too, but make sure that's good. We'll keep growing another one, and like I said, we'll leave that one there because I want that node on this side. And I'm gonna head back, and we'll keep going. Okay, we were looking at the Viz filter, so let's bring that up. It's a silverwood plank and 2 gold ingots. Fairly easy to make, especially when we've got resources coming out of our ears. So we'll make a couple filters out of that. You know what, let's craft like some of those too, just so we have them in there if we need them. And okay, so let's make some planks, which we got plenty of silverwood. And then we'll make a couple filters. And how are we doing on Viz? We're getting pretty low. Oh no, I think we're all right. So I've got Viz filters, and let us... Got our filter. So in order to make the Alembic, we just need iron, a bucket, gold ingot. Really easy to make in a Viz filter. So let's get a bucket. Let's drop some of this stuff, because we're not going to need all of this. I'm going to need that. I'll drop some of these patterns in there for now. I've already got iron. I've got my bucket. And I've got my gold ingot, because we made plenty of those. And we've got our Viz filter. So let's make the Alembic. I don't like that it takes the whole screen there, because it makes it hard to bring up the pattern. So that should be good. Where's my wand? There it is, and there's the Alembic. Okay, so now we take that Alembic and we set it on top of the furnace, like so. And then what we'll need is some Essentia tubing, which the only side here is the side with the label that you can't run tubing out of, but I could run tubing out of 3 sides of it, and that'll make it where we can get our jars full of Essentia. So we'll do a quick example of that. So let's look at the tubing, which is here. It's a quicksilver drop, a gold nugget, iron, glass, iron. So I should be able to get a quicksilver drop, I would think. Quicksilver. Yep. We need gold nuggets. Just let me check that again. Gold nugget, glass, and then we're good. So I think I already have some gold nuggets. And then glass. Yeah, we're good. So that should be good for that. And let's do Essentia tubes. Okay. And we'll just do regular Essentia tubes for now. This is very basic. Oh, we're low on Viz. I will be right back once we get some Viz. Alright, we've got some Ordo. And that will make it where we can make some tubing. That should be more than enough. We're also going to need to get a warded jar, which I think is going to take this. If I recall, it's been a little while since I've done this, but we will check the recipe before we go on. Let's check out warded jar. And this is to hold Essentia. Yep, so we just need a silverwood slab. So we're going to need this out to make the silverwood slab, but if I can get those together. And then let's drop the wand in. So I want a couple of these. I made 2. So I got a couple. And then after we've got the warded jars, we've got the Essentia tubing. What we can do is take our warded jars and put them here. Take our Essentia tubing. This is a very basic setup. Now you can get crazy with this, but this is a good way to make some basic Essentia. We'll want to get more of those warded jars, but I'll do that off camera. So let's take a good example would be like a blaze rod. Okay. Well, you know what? Let's first of all, let's see what we can do to go ahead and make some of the cooking stuff. So in order to cook efficiently, you need Elementum. And in order to do that, you need Potentia, you need Perditio, and you need Ignis. Okay, so we want to find something that will give us this, probably coal. So let's get some coal. See what coal is made of. I got to do it in my actual wireless thing. I've got blocks of coal here. And that's Potentia and Ignis. So that's I definitely need that. So let's go ahead and take a couple blocks of coal and we'll do that. And let's produce at least 2 of the things we need for that. And then for our third one, so what we're going to do in order to do that, let's go ahead and put that in. We'll put a block of coal in here and then we'll cook it. And that block of coal may be overkill, but if you can get to where you make Elementum, this helps you cook much more efficiently. But you'll be able to watch it. There's Potentia, and there's Ignis. And as this gets produced, that's probably going to burn a while. So let's put a few of these in here. I should have probably just used a regular piece of coal, because we might fill this up to the point where it goes past it. But as you can see, we're producing Potentia and Ignis, which is what coal is made of. So the whole point is whatever your components are, like if I wanted Metallum, I could put iron in there. If I wanted Cognito, I could put pieces of paper. And any of these that are made up of multiples, it will produce one or the other when you cook it in the Alembic. Well, in the furnace, and you have the Alembic up top to actually collect it. So in this case, there's only 2 places it can go. You don't want to go more than one step out from here, because that could cause problems with leaking. So what we're going to do is we'll do that, and then we'll also get what we need to make Alumentum, which is Perditio, and I need to find something that's made up of Perditio in order to make that work. So I don't know if I have anything in here specifically. These new items we need to... There's Praecanticio. There's Perditio there, but that Yeta wrench is not going to be your best bet for that. So I'll be right back once I figure out what is a good source of Perditio. Okay, it looks like Perditio, a good source of that is gunpowder. So I'm going to put another warded jar down. I made a few more while we were on a short break there. Oh crap, that's not going to work. Okay. Until this gets done burning, that's not going to work. So it's getting through the coal. Let's get some gunpowder ready, and once this jumps back, we'll do the gunpowder. If I could type. And I don't need this right now. That. So if I look right here, see gunpowder will give us 4 Perditio and 4 Ignis. So it's kind of good I had that other Ignis thing, because this is going to be pretty full on Ignis. And let's go ahead and jump some gunpowder in here. We're going to hope there's a Perditio. So I'm going to drop that in there so it goes in. So now we have a Perditio container. We have an Ignis container, which... if that fills up, I can always use the second one. They can hold 64. And if it fills up, I can just use the second one. It will have nowhere to go. So it'll just kind of sit there. So you want to make sure you break this one. And as you break them, it keeps whatever's in there. And you can use these in your crafting recipes, which we will do. So this gives me Perditio. Potentia. And Ignis. And we're still getting these, so I'm going to need to break that. What's it waiting for? You can look up here to kind of find out. Looks like Ignis is in there, but I'm going to... We may be all right. Nope, it's got Potentia in it still. That's still from the coal. It's kind of in this buffer inside here. So we're going to break this, and I will put an empty warded jar there to catch that. So we'll keep getting the Potentia. So right now it's a pretty manual process. We're probably going to get this where it's going to go into ME with the Energistics, Thaumic Energistics. But that we're not there yet. We've got to get some stuff going before we can do that. So that's a basic introduction to how you create your liquefied Essentia. And as you can see, we've got a few of them built up. I'm going to go ahead and drop the Ignis here for now. It's a nice full jar. And I'll do the same thing with Potentia. So you can see we're getting a good little stockpile. This will be used for Elementum once we get to our next step, which will be using these in actual crafting recipes. So we'll be back with that in a minute. Alright, we're back, and I have my first layer of my Thaumcraft building kind of built up here. It's the same place we were before. You can see a little limestone pad down here, but I added a little layer on top of it. Kind of a high contrast look, I don't know. It looks okay. I probably could have put a little more time into it, but I just wanted something we could use, and maybe as we need more space I'll expand it or clean it up or pretty it up. But for a first pass, it's not bad. Something a little different. I also added some pads for some great wood trees. I got these from legendary or epic loot bags. Not the legendary, it's the step down. And I made two pads here. One of them has grown, and we're going to need great wood. You can also craft them using witch water if I bring up a great wood. Wood sapling. Same as the silver wood. You can make it sort of similarly, except you use dark oak instead of jungle. And that makes a great wood tree. You need that for a lot of your, well, not a lot of your recipes, but some of your Thaumcraft recipes are going to need great wood. So, I don't see any nodes in here, so I'm just going to vein miner this thing. See what happens. And I brought a vacuum hopper with me. And that's just to pick this stuff up, if anything, like any saplings drop, I kind of want it to pick up. Oh, there's saplings dropping anyways. That's going pretty quick. I'm going to set it there, and if any saplings do drop while I'm away, it should pick them up. So any wood, that kind of stuff. So that's kind of the point. You can see it's getting pulled in. So we'll let that go and disintegrate, and hopefully we'll get a few more saplings out of that so we can keep it going. But so that brings us to our next recipe. So what I want to do is go in here and let's bring up our Thaumatorium. And there's a couple things we need. I need one of these automated alchemies. What it's called a... You know, we may not be able to do that. I don't think we have a strong enough wand. Alright, I had to take a second of break there just to do a little gathering of my thoughts, because I need to upgrade my wand to be able to have enough viz to be able to produce these. Because you can see your alchemy construct here takes quite a bit of... It takes 30 Ordo, 30 Aqua, and 15 Ignis, and that's to turn this into the construct when you're done that allows you to automate alchemy. And the reason I want to do that is I don't want to be doing this in a crucible. So what you do is you take a crucible and you take two of these alchemical constructs in the world. But first of all, let's upgrade our wand, and then I'll take a quick break to fill it up with viz, and then we'll come back and we'll work on constructing a couple of these. Well, another recipe we need to look at is an Essentia valve. You just take a tube and you add a lever, and you put it in your workbench. So what I want to do is I want to make... First of all, we're going to need to make a wand and wand cap. So let's take our two great wood logs. And I need my other wand here. And that'll make a great wood rod, which we can use for our great wood wand. And then we need to make wand caps, which, if we look here in Thaumaturgy, I can make gold ones fairly easily. It's just gold nuggets, and I need 2 of those, and some viz. So let's do that. Get some gold nuggets. Don't have enough, but I have enough ingots. And we'll go ahead and grab these. Make a couple of these. I don't need 3. 2 wand caps, and then I should be able to take this and put the 2 caps in there. And we're going to need more viz than I think I have. I've got enough. So there we go. This has 50 capacity, which is better than the 25 capacity on the wooden wand. So I'm going to go fill this up, and I will be back in a minute. Okay, we're back, and let's get started creating the auto alchemy construct thingy. So I've got everything I need in my inventory here. I've made a couple of Essentia valves like we talked about, just adding a lever to that, and I've got my wands pretty much charged up. So let's make a couple constructs. And they take 5 ordo and 5 aqua. I'm going to use this one up. I think I've got enough for 2 of them. So there are 2 of those, and then all you have to do is take your alchemical construct, put 2 of them like this, and then take your wand and right click it, and see that took a big chunk of our viz, but it worked. Let's go ahead and get that last construct off of there. So this has a different interface, but basically this works kind of like a cauldron, where if you put in an item and then you provide viz with it, it will tell you basically what you need in order to supply it what it needs to craft. So let's do an example of that with creating some of the fuel for this. So Elementum. Let's get some coal. We'll take a stack of it, put it in here. So you can see it wants Ignis, it wants Perditio, and it wants Potentia to make Elementum. So what we'll do is we'll take our Essentia tubes, similar to before, where we take it this way. I think it can connect here. No, it can't. It's the same as before. So I'll put it in the back. That's fine. And let's go ahead and take some of these out of here. We'll make 16 Elementum to start. And the reason is so we don't run out of Essentia. So I'm going to take each of these and connect them. So that one, and that one. That's Potentia, Ignis, and Perditio. So if I put Perditio here, I believe it'll feed it in. Where are my other jars? There we go. Ignis. And Potentia. And it might be... for some reason that's not working. Give me a sec to figure that out, and I will be right back. Okay, I've got this figured out now. So what we've got to do is, there had to be a heat source under it. That was the problem. Everything else would be fine, but there was no heat source under it. So I got some netherrack and I put some fire under there. I'm going to eventually replace that with niter, which we can make here. But I'm going to go ahead and finish making the Elementum that we started. And then we will go ahead and try to make niter, but we're going to need to get lux and potentia before we can do that. So we're going to use the same process, throw glowstone dust. So you can see these are cauldron recipes. So as long as I have glowstone dust into the cauldron, you can do the same thing in here. So if I were to put glowstone dust in this, it would then ask for the right aspects for that. So, and I also think you have to click this in order to make it. I'm not real sure, but it looks like you have to enable production. So let's connect Potentia, and this should work fine. Let me go ahead and put our other tubes back because I'd done a little testing on that. So let's put Ignis, which we don't need any more of right now. And then I'll take Potentia and put it here. And we should start making Elementum. Yep, and it looks like it's spitting it out the front. So we probably could put something there to catch that. I'm not real sure, but we'll let that keep going. And we'll make the full stack. And that's what we're going to do as well to make niter. So I'm going to replace this flame down here with niter, which just kind of floats in midair. You don't need anything for it to burn on. You can put it on any block, and it's like a glowing ball of heat. And I'll use that to replace this fire. But it seems to be going plenty fast. So once this gets done, there we go. I can take this and put this in here, and that'll be a very good fuel for that. So for making Essentia. So now we have a setup where we can make Essentia, and then we can also kind of, instead of a cauldron, we can use this to speed up that process and make it where it's more stable, where you don't lose your Essentia that's in there. So I'm going to make some niter off camera. The next thing we need to do for Thaumcraft is we need to get magical infusions going. And let me see if I can find a place where that's described right here. We have to make an infusion altar, and I kind of made room for that upstairs knowing I was going to build one. And so here's the runic matrix, one of the things we need for it, and then you end up making these pedestals, which are pretty cheap to make. So you take your arcane stone and make pedestals out of them, which we're going to need, I believe, 9 of these in order to make the infusion altar complete. So here's the pattern. So there's one pedestal in the middle. You have stone bricks at the bottom. You have stone blocks, one more level up, and then you kind of float the runic matrix, and then you have to right-click it, and it's 25 of each of the essences in order to turn it into the altar. So let me go get that gathered, and we'll come back and we'll build one. All right, we're back, and we are going to get started. Let's go ahead and get the runic matrix created. That's going to take 40 ordo, which is going to drain me pretty much on my great wood wand, but I can make it happen at least. So let's grab everything we need for that. We're going to need, it looks like, an ender pearl and 4 shards. So I'm going to need shards and a pearl, which I don't have here. So let's get, I do have shards, so let's just get a pearl. And we'll throw all this in here. So we'll take our 4 arcane stone. We'll take our 4 shards. We'll take our ender pearl. We'll drop our great wood wand in. And there's our runic matrix. That's going to be the top. So let's go up here to our spot and start building. So in the middle is where we're going to want to do this. And let's take a look at the pattern real quick. So next page. Pedestals are already done. I created those while waiting. Do I have stone bricks? I know I've created them before. Oops. I do have some. Okay, so let's take a look. We want our pedestal in the middle, bricks on the bottom. So pedestal in the middle, which I'm going to go ahead and place the other ones. This is the 9x9 pattern I was talking about. Okay, and you'll notice they're symmetrical. I'm going to dump this one out here because my inventory is kind of full. Let's take our arcane bricks and go 1, 2, 3, 4. And then based on the pattern, so we have our arcane bricks in this pattern. We're going to put our arcane stone on top of it. So 1, 2, 3, 4. And then I believe you double check one more time. The next level up is where we're going to have our runic matrix. So let me get these out of here. I don't want to place that yet. And there's our runic matrix. Okay, and so let's break those other items because they're not going to be in the right spot. All right, and I'm going to have to go fill up with ordo, I believe it, or is it 25 of each? I know I'm not going to have enough Ordo. 25 of each, so if you look at my Greatwood Wand, I am too low. I have 12 Ordo, so I'll be back when I get my Ordo set up, and we will get this going. Okay, I've got enough here. So all we have to do now is come up and right-click, and it will transform it into our infusion altar. Another thing we need to do before we try an infusion, which I'm going to show off, is I need to get some tallow candles to put around it. And that is to reduce instability. So one of the things when you're building these is you want them to be symmetrical, which you notice so everything is symmetrical here. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fill these areas here with candles. And that will be around here to stabilize the infusion process. And let's look at that recipe for it real quick. So I believe I have it here. Here's tallow, which really we just need precantaccio, and we're going to put a rotten flesh in to get that, and we're going to use this device. So I will go off and get the precantaccio that we need, which I'm not sure of the item right now. So once I come back, we'll discuss that, and we'll make our candles. After that, we'll get ready to do our first infusion. Okay, we're back, and I wanted to, for our last thing in this episode, which we are actually over on time, but I wanted to go ahead and do an infusion as part of this. So one of the things we need to do is create some tallow candles to put around this altar. I've already put our aspects that we're going to need, the Essentia, around that I've gathered for the infusion we're going to do. But let's go ahead and get a couple candles made. So first thing we need to do is get some tallow, which is all we need is precantaccio or precantaccio or however you say that. And we'll put that here. And what we're looking at is, there's our tallow. See, it's coming out and we've got the zombie flesh in there. We're making plenty of tallow. It comes out really quick, so using that up. So as long as you put in your zombie flesh, it will go ahead and do that. It's pretty good. And then we're going to use that to craft some candles. So I need to get some string. And I'd like them to be black just because it's, you know, kind of fits the theme. So I'm going to get some coal dust too, which I should have. Let's make like 20 of those. Let's get a few of those to come in. It should be pretty quick. There we go. Make sure we have enough. Okay, then what we'll do is take our tallow. And we'll take our string. Let's check the recipe on that, because that should have worked. And let's say candle, tallow, candle, string into magic tallow. Is it shaped? They have to be in the middle. Oh yeah, there we go. So there's our tallow candles, and then we're going to take this with our coal dust, and that should be enough. So we'll go ahead and place these around like this, and for now we'll do 1, 2, and they need to be symmetrical. So I'm going to set them like this around every other block, and just make sure that if you have one, there's one across, no matter what you're doing. So that gives us some stability. So what we want to do is we're going to create our wand focus for warding. So if we bring up our Thaumatoricon and we go to Wands, Thaumaturgy, here's our wand focus warding. I've already researched this. So you need a couple earth shards, a couple nether quartz, a couple order shards, and a couple quicksilver around a nether star. So let's get those into our inventory and clear up some of this so we have room for it all. So I've got nether quartz, quicksilver, earth and order shards, and a nether star. Just need one of those. All right, so you see that, and then if you bring up your Thaumatoricon, you see the aspects that are going to be needed. Tutamen I got from burning armor in the furnace, and that gives you Tutamen and a couple other things. Terra and Ordo you can actually get from chiseled stone bricks, And you can make those with a chisel and smooth stone. And then cognito I got from burning paper. So paper, every piece of paper gives you 1 cognito. So you put those into the furnace like we did before, and you can see here's Tutamen 26, here's Terra, here's Cognito 30, and Ordo. As long as you have enough to do it, you should be just fine. So let's take a look at the layout. And so we're going to do Order Shards and Earth Shards. So let's do Order, Earth, and Quicksilver. So Order, Earth, Quicksilver, and Nether Quartz. So the Order, Quicksilver, Earth, and when you're doing that, you want to make sure that you set them symmetrically. Was it Order there? So yeah, Order's in that corner. And we're going to do Nether Quartz on the side and another star in the middle. And where's our Nether star? And let me just verify that Order needs to be top left, because I don't want to have a problem with this. So Order's top left, Earth Shard's top right. I'm not sure that that really matters, but I like to lay them out the same as the recipe. So you can see we've got our required Essentia in range. We've got all of our stuff laid out. And then in order to start it, you take your wand and you right click. And it starts to absorb it. And it's a pretty cool process. It actually looks pretty neat. So we'll stand here and watch it, make sure nothing gets knocked off. There we go. So it starts to bring the Tutamen in. Terra's in. And here comes the Ordo. Next will be the Cognito. There goes the Cognito. And once that's done, you'll see it absorb all of the ingredients. So the shards are going in, the Quicksilver will go in. It's pretty cool. It's actually a pretty neat setup. And then, when it gets done, this should turn into our focus. Nether Quartz and the Order Shard. There we go. So it completed. So we'll right click that to grab it, and we've got our wand focus of warding. And then what we can do is hold up our focus key and choose warding, and if I want to, I can ward this block. So I just warded that mycelium. It's now explosion proof. We're going to be using that next episode to make our wither farm, not out of that, but out of something that looks a little better. But that pretty much wraps up this episode. That is an altar of infusion, and that is infusion crafting in Thaumcraft. So it's a big step to get in that direction. We also need to get a centrifuge, which we'll probably get next time as we get started into a little more Thaumcraft. But we're going to be getting to the places that we need to get fairly quickly, so probably only another episode or two of Thaumcraft, and we'll move on to a different mod. But I appreciate you tuning into this episode, and we will see you next time.